Hey guys, Nito King, Space Quest 5, and a ton of stuff that I didn't look at the first time through the game. It's funny because he's got horns. Alright, moving on a bit from the classroom. You might remember that I bumped into a lot of people when I tried to clean this floor without putting down the cones, so let's see how far I can take that. And here we are, already got people crossing my path and yelling at me. Calling me Monkey Boy. Alright, forget about him. Let's just see if we can at least finish cleaning this floor. It doesn't seem like people are walking across clean spots to leave more dirty marks or something. My cleaning prowess seems to have decreased significantly here. I think I broke something. Worth it just for that musical sting. Alright, so let's pretend that I cleaned the floor properly and look at some other stuff. Yeah, nothing really special here, but I love that phrase, the black hole you call a brain. It's brilliant. And moving on a little bit, after meeting Beatrice, the description of her ship changes slightly. So if you skip Space Quest 4 and have incredible attention to detail, you can get the backstory right here. I don't think I tried going back into these doors afterward. So, jumping right along to after defeating WD-40 on Kiz Urazgabai. See what happens if I didn't pick up her head. pretty much the same thing we hear after we bring him the head. Now there's an end for a scene. So let's hop around the universe a little bit, starting by going to genetics before we've actually got the code for it, since it never changes. And look, all 3 domes are intact. And I know that guy. Yeah? Screw you. In fact, call him back and tell him screw you. Well, alright, fine. The other thing, I remember scanning it later in the game, but perhaps if we scan it now, we'll get some more interesting results. Or decidedly less interesting results. Still can't catch her off guard. So I'm just going to go down the list of planets that are on the copy protection sheet, and Thrakus comes first. I believe I already scanned this planet in the playthrough. Yep, highly toxic. But we can go down to the surface of this one before we need to in the plot. If you remember, we tracked the Goliath here after we got its distress call, and down on the surface of the planet was where the escape pod had crashed with Beatrice inside. So I figure I'll just pop down there and take a look at what's on the surface before she crash lands. And always remember the mask. Absolutely nothing special at all. Ooh, burn! She's not taking it. I never even realized there were conversations you could have when using the communicator. Yep, Kizir is the next planet on the list. And we didn't even have WD-40 before, so we had no chance to scan it. Good to know it's capable of sustaining humanoid life forms when I, a humanoid life form, was walking around freely on the surface before. But now that it's significantly later in the game than where it was supposed to be, I wonder if WD-40's ship is still down there. Well, obviously in no fit state to respond. Maybe I'll just go down and check it out for myself. Yeah, they always make you go back to the start. And unfortunately, those are the most interesting of the planets. Wukashuk 2, which I always thought was a dig at LucasArts for some reason, but turns out that's actually the name of a Dynamics programmer who seems to have popped up in a lot of Easter eggs in Sierra games. Planet cannot sustain humanoid life for no specified reason. Well, I'm gonna go down and see for myself just why that is. I mean, how bad can it possibly be, right? I've got a mask. And see, it says I don't even really need it. And now it makes me put Spike back. You can walk around on Thrakus with him. And that's all it does if you beam down to an uninhabitable planet. Good to know. Good to know. So next up is, of course, gingivitis. We did have to go here during the plot, but only to meet the Goliath at the very end of everything. We didn't have a chance to explore the planet very much. Soul planet of the Halitosis system. That's appropriate. And moving on. Next up is Monostat 7. Yeah, I don't expect I could survive down there either. I'm gonna skip ahead a couple more and go right to Commodore 64. There's nothing you can do on Gangularis or PU, because you have to go there during the plot, but only to pick up garbage beacons. It won't let you go into orbit around either planet, so you can't look at them or scan them. I'm not sure whether it's supposed to be a pun or not that you need a VAC for Commodore 64. Who can say? And next up is the spacebar. Oh yeah, we blew that up. Well, all we need to do is go there before I blew it up. The spacebar is a little old place where we can get together. Now that's just rude. I'm calling him back and giving him a piece of my mind. Well, why don't I just call down to the spacebar and tell them that Quirk is scaring their customers away? There's got to be something I can do. Molly's Chuggin' Glug. I don't think I've ever even heard that name before. Yeah, okay, not a very creative solution to being snubbed. Let's just head down there anyway. I'm taking my shore leave early. What's anyone going to do about it? Anti-teleportation shields on the spacebar? Seriously? Whatever. I'm out of background music and we got one more place to go to. An inhospitable backwater of a planet. How do they even have backwater at minus 200 degrees? Wouldn't it be ice? Anyway, one of the planets that I skipped while going through, Clorox 2. And there's a reason I skipped it, because we're not just coming here to look at the planet, although we're going to do that. This is the place where we found the abandoned colony and first met the Pucoids. And it's also the place where I forgot to do something that gives you 10 points. You may remember that we hailed the planet to see if we could get in contact with anyone. We could not. Flo suggested we call StarCon, so we did that. And this happened. Now, one thing that I didn't try doing is hailing a ship. Now, the Goliath is supposed to be patrolling this area, so let's see what they have to say about what's going on. And there's my missing 10 points. And here's another suggestion to form an away team and go down to the surface of the planet. Which is, of course, what we eventually did. I also love this fertilizer transport out of Uranus. Classic. So, speeding ahead in the plot a little bit, getting shot at by the Pucoids, let's see what happens if I don't grab the vine and get pulled up. And clearly I have plenty of time to do it. And a bit further along, I've just put Beatrice into the cryo chamber. Go ahead and freeze her. Doing it correctly, of course, because I've experimented with pretty much every way to screw this up. Now what happens if I thaw her now, instead of waiting until later? It seems like I could just freeze her again. But nope, dead. And one thing I didn't try in here was playing around with a claw after I've grabbed Cliffy. And back to the ship again. Another thing I promised to show you guys was what happens if you get eaten by the frog on genetics, which was really hard to do. Same picture, different message. And further on genetics, see that Cliffy has arrived, but I haven't actually used the communicator yet to tell the ship that I've been turned into a fly. But Cliffy will be able to figure it out, right? It's a failure to communicate, of course. So, let's try that again and actually use the communicator. I mean, they're already here, so it seems kind of late to get them a message, but the communicator's still there. And of course, from here things proceed as normal. So let's move on a little bit and get to the point where we actually infiltrate the Goliath. And of course, everybody points out that if you get the laser torch from the beginning of the game, you can't put it back. But if you go through the whole game without it, you actually get what I think is one of the cleverest death messages in the entire series. Dang, we used the wrong word for ensuring. And someone else will have to carry the torch I left behind. I absolutely love that one. So, fortunately, you can just go right back to the toolbox from my save and grab the torch. There's something else that's a little harder to go back and get at this point. You might remember the liquid nitrogen tanks on genetics, which they put into WD-40 to create an anti-pucoid weapon. Yeah, I didn't get that either. I went ahead and let this scene play out, just in case there was anything different about it. But there's not. I'm not sure that they did tell me so. Alright, one final thing. If our mission has been successful, I wanted to show you how much of the ending sequence actually is automated if you don't do stuff, like tell your crew to abandon ship. You notice they do it automatically when you go to stand up, you just don't get the points for it. And I'll skip ahead a little bit to after I've fixed the fuse in the transporter. If you don't go to get Spike, he just comes along with you anyway. And again, you just lose some points. But of course, the most important person in this entire rescue is the one you don't automatically go to get. And that's kind of a shame. So I'll go ahead and rescue Beatrice along with everything else. And oh yeah, I forgot the warp distributor cap again. Oh well, I still do kind of like this running part. And one more slide down the handrail. And off we go. And this is what happens if you don't set the self-destruct. And that's it. That is pretty much everything I can think of to do in Space Quest V. Next time, the finale with Space Quest VI. Hey guys, Nito King, Space Quest V, and a ton of stuff that I didn't look at the first time through the game. It's funny because he's got horns. Worth it just for that musical sting. Alright, so let's pretend that I clean the floor properly and look at some other stuff. Yeah, nothing really special here, but I love that phrase, the black hole you call a brain. It's brilliant. And moving on a little bit, after meeting Beatrice, the description of her ship changes slightly. So if you skip Space Quest 4 and have incredible attention to detail, you can get the backstory right here. I don't think I tried going back into these doors afterward. Calling me Monkey Boy. Alright, forget about him. Let's just see if we can at least finish cleaning this floor. It doesn't seem like people are walking across clean spots to leave more dirty marks or something. My cleaning prowess seems to have decreased significantly here. I think I broke something. Alright, moving on a bit from the classroom. You might remember that I bumped into a lot of people when I tried to clean this floor without putting down the cones, so let's see how far I can take that. And here we are, already got people crossing my path and yelling at me.